Agricultural Codesa to discuss problems or rather troubles in the sector and are warning that the farmer tax may result in the army being deployed on farms. The National African Farmers Union, NAFU, President Mr. Motsepe Matlala said violence against farming community is unique and requires countermeasures. And for more on the story, we are of course joined in our studios by Mr. Motsepe Matlala, the President of NAFU. Sir, welcome to AM News.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
As a farmer yourself, can you just kindly elaborate on the problems that you're currently facing within the farming community?
Well, farming is not really a South African issue. It is the world issue in which countries have actually paid much more attention to ensure that there is food security for people of whatever country it may be. Accordingly, it becomes a center in which governments would actually measure themselves to ensure that the rich and the poor live together in harmony without poverty.
Now, I understand that you also spoke about how the country is losing competent food-producing farmers. How is this affecting food security in South Africa?
One of the challenges that we are actually faced with, or one of the mistakes we have made, was when the ANC government took over in 1994. I think our priorities at that time that would have said that farmers or agriculture, so to speak, need to be prioritized in order to bring those who were excluded into the mainstream agricultural value chain. I think that mistake is now beginning to come to the fore. But the second thing that I want to actually say is that the laws that we have created that we thought would actually support the agricultural production and the entire economy of farming in our country, we found now that most of these laws are not necessarily supportive. In our view, therefore, we think that government must ensure that the environment under which farmers are actually doing their business is conducive to the sector. Yes. Secondly, it is our view that those who are going into Africa, my apology, are not necessarily going back to Australia or to Holland they're going into Africa, which is the black continent. Yeah. What is it that they are running away from? Now, one of the issues that we believe may be the cause is actually the laws that we can review in order to create an environment that agriculture will become competitive. And the other matter is clearly the matter of these farm attacks, which we believe need special attention because there are crimes in the townships throughout the country. Yes. That are terribly very bad. But we can never, in terms of our constitution, that really propagate that everybody must actually be entitled to food. So therefore, we feel that this matter need to be arrested sooner.
We understand that you have considered Agricultural Codesa to be, of course, a formation or rather an organization that might bring possible solutions to these farm attacks and the day-to-day challenges that farmers continue to oppose. Why do you think Agricultural Codesa might be a viable solution?
We are well known all over the world as people that would actually address very difficult issues. And I think that is how South Africans are known. But what I want to bring on the table is that agriculture is not only and exclusively the domain of farmers themselves. There are many interest groups such as agribusiness, such as banks, private sector, labor unions, government, and everybody. So if these interest groups and stakeholders are brought together to then begin to bring the issues that relate to agriculture, I believe that we can find a common solution, because right now labor unions may not see agriculture in the way that farmers would see it, and other people may see it differently. But in order for South Africa to support the food production and indeed an environment that would enable farmers to farm without looking at on their back, I think agricultural Codesa becomes a viable proposition that would ensure that the minimization of farmer tax on farm owners and farm workers is this thing is minimized. Improvement of production would then obviously begin to take place. There will not be any migration of farmers going into Africa. I think the improvement of food security in our country would also become something that we can be proud of.
Mr. Matlala, you spoke about South Africa's support, of course, to the farming sector, to the agricultural sector. But we also understand that there was a significant drop as far as membership is concerned within NAFU, from 600,000 members to now 46,000 members. Why the sudden drop, decrease of members, especially at such a high rate?
Such a very painful issue that you are raising. Because it is not a matter that affected the National African Farmers Union of South Africa alone. The division among black business and among black organizations in general is really a worrying issue. I do not know whether I am entitled to talk about our people because of my age, because there are many people at home that are more experienced than I am. But I would like to say, mindful of this fact that I've told you, that the divisions amongst ourselves as African people, the disrespect that we have shown to the leadership of our people is something that we need to talk about ourselves. Coming from the Black Business Council point of view, we think that we need to confront this matter of just focusing on who becomes the president of the country and who becomes the president of whatever organization. We have now to be part of solutions and make a contribution to South Africa and grow to ensure that those who are in church would actually deal with their problems. Those who are in government would deal with the problems of government. Organizations such as NAFU would then obviously deal with their problems. But I want to echo this point of saying black people, particularly those senior African people, need to talk much about the unity of ourselves. Now, the reasons why there were division. There are other organizations that have emerged from NAFU South Africa, and there are other sprinter groups. But we are doing what we can to impress on our people that all of us makes mistakes. And I think going forward in the future, and then the leadership of my organization is actually focusing on unifying this union to go further in confronting the membership, the problems of our members.
Mr. Motsepe Matlala, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that was Mr. Motsepe Matlala, the National African Farmers Union President, talking more about the farmer tax and what solutions he feels needs to be brought forward to the table to ensure that farmers, of course, do not face their day-to-day challenges. Well, we'll